Ooh, it looks like we're live. It looks like, listen, here we are. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday. I have to admit, I don't know what the date is. I'm actually going to look it up. It's the 7th of June. I want to welcome you to the seventh episode in my Tuesday morning lives. This is a time for us to be together. And I see there's already people chiming in the chat. Listen, this is a time for us to be together and to kind of hang out. You can ask me questions now here live, or you are welcome to submit questions to me throughout the week. And I'm actually going to I'm going to drop something in the chat right now. I thought I had already, but I didn't. And if you want to ever, you want to meet with me or, just kind of hang out, talk about stuff, because that's what I do all the time. Meet with me at http. There's only 2 T's in that, //Prouty.me. That gets you to my calendar. I'm going to pop that in there, and I'm also going to pin that comment to the very top. So you see it if you're watching this on the replay. Just head on over to Prouty.me. Prouty, that's my last name, of course. Prouty. I'm actually going to legally change my last name to Prouty.me. I'm going to get the .me in there just so that I can just say it all the time. That gives you the opportunity to get on my calendar and meet with me. But here, today we are going to be talking about having confidence as an entrepreneur. It is one of the most important ingredients to be successful as an entrepreneur, is to have this unshakable level of self-confidence, the kind of self-confidence that people get nervous when they see you, and they get a little bit worried because you're so self-confident. Now, I will say this, there is a very fine line between being unbelievably self-confident and being cocky and being, I don't know what, braggadocio, I guess would be another word for it, if that is even a word. But there's a very fine line between there, and it's up to you to figure out where that line is. And kind of like when people are dumb, they don't realize they're dumb. You know dumb people, and a lot of times dumb people don't realize they're dumb, and there's nothing you can do to help them. When you cross the line from being self-confident to being cocky, you might not realize it. So sometimes it's important to ask the people around you, do I come across as confident, or do I come across as cocky? And then if you get enough people saying that you're saying it's the latter, might be time to do a little bit of thinking about that level of confidence and just kind of dial things in just a little bit more. But enough questions have come into me in comments, in videos, and in direct messages, which you can get to direct message with me if you really want. If you ever feel like just having a chat, you can just go to chat.prouty.me or a chat. There, I just popped that in the chat as well. And a lot of times messages come into me asking me about how to be more confident as entrepreneurs. Sometimes when you're just starting out, it's difficult to have that level of confidence, and I totally get that. So some of the questions that have come in over the past couple of weeks that I kind of put together in this dossier of questions that are all sort of similar, they all revolve around having self-confidence and being confident as an entrepreneur. So get a pencil, get a piece of paper, get something where you can take some notes, because I'm going to give you a set of steps that you can start following right now. You don't even have to wait until the end of this live session to implement the things that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to increase your level of self-confidence right now, and I hope, beyond hope, that this makes you allows you to have so much greater impact and serve so many more people and make those connections and have that effect on your market. I hope that today we're able to unlock that. We're going to have some fun over the next 25 minutes or so, and I'm going to give you the steps that you can take right now to unlock the kind of self-confidence that makes your competition very nervous about having you in the room. And like, you walk into the room or you show up on the Zoom and you see your competition go, screw this, and they're out of there. They're gone. There's no better way to beat the competition than to have them dematerialize from wherever you happen to be marketing. That's one of my favorite marketing tactics, is watching the competition go, oh, screw this, I'm out of here. Prouty's here. When you have high levels of confidence, people just they're magnetized to it. They are so attracted to it. They want to be near you. They want to be working with you. And it's just this beautiful thing. I'm just kind of organizing my screen right now so I can see the chat, and you can feel free to drop questions in the chat, even if you want to ask questions that don't have anything to do with self-confidence. So What's the problem that we have? The problem that we have is that there is a part of our brain that wants to keep us safe and wants to keep us in the tribe and wants to keep us from dying and wants to keep the pterodactyl from turning us into lunch, right? There's that part of the brain. That's a very powerful part of the brain. It's how we as humans are still here on the face of the earth, thankfully, for that part of the brain. Monica, I'm so glad you're here. I am so glad you're here. I'll answer that question a little later on today. Hang with me and we'll talk about SEMrush versus Answer the Public. We're going to talk about self-confidence first. So you have a part of your brain that is trying to keep you alive, and part of the way it's trying to keep you alive is to keep you with the group. Well, what we've talked about in past episodes of this live is that staying with the group is keeping you normal. It's keeping you suppressed. It's keeping you from really advancing yourself, because you get very nervous when you leave the group until you start to discover that you can leave the group and you start to have success. Then the group gets nervous and they want to pull you back. They want to keep pulling you back and pulling you back. In fact, there's a great analogy for this that I'm going to share with you right now. And I just want you to just remember this. If you walk by a bucket of crabs and you look in at the bucket of crabs, you don't have to put a cover on it. So for you people who go crabbing, you already know this. For you people who don't, this is a life lesson for you. If you have a giant bucket of crabs that you've just pulled out of the Chesapeake Bay and you put them all in a bucket, and one crab tries to crawl out of the bucket, the other crabs are grabbing and pulling that crab back into the bucket because they don't want the crab to leave. Now, it's not that the crabs enjoy the company of the other crab. It's just their mechanism for staying alive, for keeping the crabs alive, right? And so what's happening is the part of their little tiny part of their brain is saying, no, you got to stay here. You're going to die if you go out there. It's the same thing with your friends and your family and the people that you surround yourself with. They don't want you to leave their company. They don't want you to go off and try to be better and do something new. It makes them very, very nervous when you do that, because it exposes to them that you might be onto something that they're not aware of, or that they're wrong in staying in that group. And I've told this story very openly. When I started my acceleration in my entrepreneurial journey, I had to say goodbye to a lot of people that were that bucket of crabs that were trying to hold me in. And I just had to say goodbye to them. And it's one of the costs, is one of the sacrifices that you have to make as an entrepreneur. You have to decide, I'm no longer going to be around these people that are holding me back, because it's those people, it's the crabs in the bucket that are keeping you in that bucket that are holding you back. They don't want you to succeed because your success demonstrates to them that they're failures. Sorry, if you're a failure, you've got to leave the bucket and you have got to move forward. And the only way to do that, my friends, is by having high levels of self-confidence. But your brain is giving you the lower version of the lower self-confidence to protect you and to try to keep you alive. So let's go through the things that you can start doing now on this call to have a higher level of self-confidence. And the very first thing, and I'm going to give you 5 seconds to get a pencil and a piece of paper to write something down in. I keep this and this nearby at all times. This is where I take my notes. All of the secrets are in here. All of the secrets are in there. But I keep that handy. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to grab that right now. And by the way, gratitude for those of you who are joining me here live while I take a sip of my iced coffee. You got the pencil? You got the paper? Oh, that is good. That is iced coffee. That is so very good. Here we go. The very first thing I want you to do starting today is reduce your exposure to all of the things that are coming at you all the time by practicing saying one word. Say it with me right now. No. You got to say no. Saying no more than you say yes is going to reduce your exposure. It's going to shrink down the amount of exposure that you have to the outside world. And it's going to allow you to focus on the things that are most important for you to say yes to. And those are the things that inspire you with the people that inspire you. You hear me say this all the time. To be successful as an entrepreneur, pick something that inspires you to do. Pick a group of people that you're inspired to be around. Say no to everything else. This means slashing away at the things that are pulling at your time that you're not inspired to do. And when you find yourself, here's how you know you're not inspired to do something. Here are the keys. You find yourself drawn to scrolling on social media. You're grabbing your phone. You're looking for distractions. That's a signal that what you're doing doesn't inspire you. You are feeling like you always want to go get a snack. When you're sitting there working and you're like, I'm not hungry, but I really do want to go eat something, that means that you're not inspired in what you're doing. That is, take your pencil and write down a list. Every time you feel like getting a snack, write down what you were doing. These are the things that don't inspire you. These are the things that stimulate the amygdala. These are the things that stimulate the lower 2/3 of your brain, the parts of your brain that are trying to keep you alive, right? When you stimulate the forebrain, when you stimulate here, the executive center, and you stimulate the evolved part of your brain, all of that other stuff shuts down. It's how people can fast for extended amounts of time. I do 24-hour fasts a couple of times a week because I'm so inspired by what I do, by talking to you, by doing this, by researching and implementing, that I never even have to think about food. Very easy for me to fast for 24 hours or 36 hours. So by reducing your exposure, by saying no more often, when you reduce your exposure, you gain incredible amounts of confidence in the things that you're saying yes to. Okay, so step number 1, write it down, say no more often. And the things that you say yes to, let them be the things that inspire you to such an extent that you could do them for hours and hours and hours and never, ever, ever get bored. Checking in on the chat. Let me just see what's going on here in the chat. I just want to move a window around. It's fear that's holding you back. Fear is a byproduct of having lack of confidence. Of course, saying goodbye is a requirement, and we gain energy back. Sandhya says that from Lotus Life Mastery. What a beautiful statement. When you say goodbye, you are actually opening up your opportunity to have more energy, and that energy is going to build your self-confidence. Lauren is here from Conscious 7. I don't even know how Lauren has the time to be here because she's going live at noon. You should look her up. You see her in the chat right there, Conscious 7. She's doing Pilates live at noon today. So when we get done with this, take your new self-confident brain and go over to her channel and do some hundreds with her. And I think she's going to be doing 1,000 hundreds coming up, if I've got that wrong, or if I've got that right, coming up sometime. You might want to go watch that. I don't know how it's possible to do 1,000 hundreds. Is that 10,000? Is that 100,000? I can't even do the math. You're reducing your surface area, okay? You're reducing your exposure. You're saying yes to the things that inspire you the most. That's going to build your self-confidence. You listening? Here comes to number 2. Number 2 is all about the discomfort that you have being an entrepreneur. And look, we all have it. When we start our businesses, it's a whole new world. And we've got to worry about having a product that we're delivering that gives a transformation and produces results. And then we've got to worry about selling it and making sure that people come into our service. There is a lot of discomfort in doing that. And you will hear people say all the time, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. What I want to tell you is this. I don't even want you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I want you to wake up every day seeking to be uncomfortable, seeking the discomfort. You see, it's the discomfort that's feeding your lack of confidence. And when you're able to zero in on that discomfort and you're able to break through that wall and you're able to just open up and move beyond it and say, okay, I didn't want to do that because it was triggering something in me that was feeling uncomfortable, but I busted through it and I got it done. There are few things. I was going to say there's nothing, but there are few things that are going to give you more confidence than busting through the things that make you uncomfortable. And listen, I'm going to zoom right in for you on this one. Here's the deal, guys. It's the things that you're most uncomfortable doing that are going to have the greatest impact on your business. I just unlocked all the secrets for you. If I could teach you just one thing, if I could write a whole book on this, it's the things that you're resisting doing that are going to have the greatest impact on your business, and nothing will make you more confident than that. So I want you to wake up every day seeking out discomfort. Brian Tracy says, eat the frog. If you know Brian Tracy, he says, eat the frog. Eat the frog means, who wants to eat a frog? I know I don't, right? Eating a frog sounds like a very uncomfortable thing to do. But he says, eat the frog. And eat the frog means do the uncomfortable thing right away. Okay? So if you're seeking to be more confident, then you also must seek out and welcome and love discomfort. I absolutely, if I'm feeling comfortable, I'm suddenly starting to I get a little bit worried about why I'm feeling so comfortable. So I try to make things more uncomfortable. I try to do the things that I've been resisting. Look, it even happens to me, guys. There are things that I resist doing for whatever reason. And when the moment I identify that, I just go, wait a minute, I know what's happening here. That thing that I'm resisting doing is the thing I need to be doing that's going to accelerate and grow as fast as possible. Somebody says the key takeaway today is busting through the discomfort. Saying no is difficult, but it's also so necessary. Coach Leanne, who helps people dissolve burnout like instantly. I've seen that woman help people dissolve burnout in under an hour. You definitely, if you're starting to feel some of the effects of burnout, and she can tell you what those things are, you're going to want to talk to her. That is true. Now, when you are working as an entrepreneur, there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be challenges and roadblocks. Things are going to get in your way. If they don't, then I don't think you're pushing hard enough. I don't think you're trying hard enough. I don't think you have big enough goals. If you don't have setbacks, your goals are not big enough. So you gotta elevate those goals. In my program, Growth Galvanized, we talk about adding a zero to everything. So if your goal is to make $100,000, add a zero and make your goal to make $1 million. Now you're going to start to see some roadblocks appear. You've got to find a way to take those setbacks and turn those setbacks into positive growth and positive movement. And we do that by using the scientific process, which is create a hypothesis, create an experiment based on that hypothesis, collect the results from that experiment, look at the feedback and loop it back around and adjust your hypothesis accordingly. The moment you have a setback or something that has taken away from your progress, hold on, stop, take a look at it, feed it into a hypothesis for why it happened, launch an experiment, collect the results, examine the feedback, and start to loop that around. That's the scientific process. We all learned it in 8th grade. You never thought you were going to use it, but I'm telling you, you need to start using it today. And take that setback and turn it into a new hypothesis that is going to explode your confidence, because now you're taking the reins of the ride and you're saying, I am in control here. And with control comes confidence. You see, and here's an important point. Confidence doesn't come from others. Others can't give you confidence. And your parents can teach you to be confident if they had the foresight to do that. And you can learn yourself to be confident, but no one can make you confident. It comes from within. It comes from within, and you must understand that if you're going to be confident as an entrepreneur and you're going to have that edge, you have to start doing these things and looking at your setbacks as signals for improvement and loop them around with the scientific process. And in looking at your setbacks and looking at your hypothesis and the experiments and the feedback and all of that, it is so very, very helpful if you align them with your goals. That is part of the magic of this book that I have right here. I buy this on Amazon for $7. I have a pencil that is dedicated only to this book. If one of my 4 children comes in and says, can I have a pencil so that I can go draw a picture of a pickle? They don't get this one, because this pencil is only for this book. And in this book, I write down my goals. And I write down my goals every single day. Here's why writing your goals every single day is important. And by the way, pick if you have 100 goals, you might want to just zoom in on like your top 3. You write your goals down every single day to remind yourself of what you're trying to accomplish. And when you have a constant reminder of what you're trying to accomplish, it is like planting the seeds of confidence every single day and reaping the harvest of confidence from the seeds you planted a few weeks ago. It's going to take some time. And I know what's going to happen to you. You right there who's listening to me right now, who has never been able to stick to anything for whatever reason. I don't know why you can't stay with something. You've got to do some honest self-reflection to figure out why you can't dedicate yourself to something. I want you to dedicate to writing down 3 goals every day in your book at the beginning of the day for 90 days. Okay? I want you to do that for 3 months. And if you're resistant and you want to take some time and think about what those goals are, then take a few weeks right now and start in July to do it for Q3. But I want you to break through, and you know I'm talking to you as you're listening to me. You know I'm talking to you, that person that hasn't been able to stick with anything. Stick with this and watch your entire world change. Get the book from Amazon, $7, just a blank notebook. Get the pencil that you don't give to anyone to go draw their pencil pickle pictures, whatever they go and draw. I don't know what they draw. And you want to write down the goals every day. If you can commit to me that you'll do that for 90 days, come back to me. If your life hasn't changed, I'll be shocked. I'll be flabbergasted, and I will personally apologize to you on one of these lives. Writing your goals down reaffirms here why you're doing what you're doing. That builds confidence. Pattern interrupt while I take a quick sip of my beverage and my iced coffee. The other thing you need to do to keep building your confidence, by the way, hold me to this. I told you at the beginning of this that you would be able to start using these before the end of the session. We've got about 8 minutes to go before the end of the session. Have you had a takeaway from this that you can start doing like now? And I mentioned my flagship program, Growth Galvanized, which is my private mastermind. If you're interested in being in my private mastermind, I've got some of the people in the audience today that are part of that. You get to spend like 3 days a week with me. You spend time with me 3 days a week, and we do stuff like this at a different level. If you want to be a part of that, just send me a message or hop on prouty.me and I'll tell you all about it. I'll probably try to sell you into it if you're right for it. But if you're not right for it, I certainly won't. So one of the things that we do in Growth Galvanized is that we take a look at how far we've come from when we started. You see, you have a faulty memory. All of you do. You're programmed to forget. You can remember what you had for breakfast. You remember what you had for dinner last night. You might remember what you had for dinner over the weekend. But if I ask you what you had for dinner in early Tuesday in June in 2016, you're probably not going to remember because you just forget. Okay, it happens to all of us. This isn't like an old age thing. Oh, look at Grandpa, so forgetful. This is just you as a human. You just don't remember things. And you, every single one of you, have forgotten how, I almost swore, I'm going to mute, how hard you have worked to get to where you are right now. Gosh, I hope I muted. You have forgotten how hard you have worked to get to where you are. I know you're not where you want to be. I know you haven't hit those goals yet. And if you have hit those goals, then they weren't big enough goals. So go back and restart those things. But you have forgotten. I want you to spend some time reflecting on how hard you've worked to get to where you are. You want to get confidence like that? Look at the journey. You would do anything to be where you are right now based on where you were when you started. Think about when you started and look at yourself right now and look at yourself back then. You would go bankrupt to be where you are right now based on where you started. There is so much that you've accomplished. Write it down. Look at the pictures from then to now. Look at where you started and what you had and what you have right now. Compare the two. If you were to jump back in time with the knowledge of where you are right now, you would sell everything. You would go bankrupt to be where you are right now. So acknowledging the work that you've gotten, the work that you've done to get to where you've gotten is a confidence boost. It's like lighting a confidence bomb in your brain when you look at everything that you've done. You don't have that far to go to be where you want to be. You've already done all the work to get you there. Looking at that and looking at that journey that you've taken is going to open up unbelievable levels of confidence. And if you do these things consistently, it is going to absolutely change the way you think. It's going to give you an entirely new paradigm every single day. And the last point I'm going to make, and there are so many more points I could make. I can fire through a bunch of these. I'll make 3 more really quick points. One of them is going to be making consistency your default state. You want to be doing the things that have impact every single day. So we started this by saying, say no more often so you can say yes to what's important. Make that your default state. Make that your consistent behavior every single day. With consistency comes confidence. And you want to surround yourself with evidence that you are confident. You know, the simplest thing, I'm going to show you the simplest thing that I surround myself with. It's this rock right here. And this rock has profound meaning to me. And the way that I came across this rock, it is here. It's one of the few things that's on my desk, but it's on my desk every single time, every single day. And this rock is part of my overall self-confidence. From where I found this and how I found this and for how long it's been with me, this is something that I surround myself with as a reminder to be confident and to keep moving forward. So surround yourself with things that make you confident. And then finally, and yeah, sure, I'm selling to you here. Get a mentor. Get somebody that inspires you and will drive you forward and remind you constantly of how confidence is going to impact you as an entrepreneur. Find a mentor. Hey, listen, if that's me, I would be super honored if that were me. If it's not me, I'm super honored that you're taking the advice and you're getting a mentor somewhere. You can ask the people that are, that show up here, and I'm sure they're going to be in the comments, about what it's like to have me as a mentor. I just got off a mentoring call right before this, about a half an hour before this. Tears were flowing because of the highest levels of inspiration that people had with the confidence that they were building in their entrepreneurial journey in building their businesses. And that's why it's so important to have a mentor, someone who's going to see your blind spots. I have a mentor, and my mentor helps push me, and I, as a mentor, help push others. And it is that wave that hits the ocean that has nothing to stop it and that turns into a tsunami on the other side of the ocean. That's what we can create together. And you'll just go crazy. It will unlock everything for you. So those are all the tips on getting a mentor. I know that some questions had come in. Monica had asked a question. Let me just find that. And Monica, I certainly hope you're still with us. And Monica wrote an article about the amygdala. I would love to read that article. We talk about that all the time and how it's holding you back. So Monica says, would you compare? This is outside of the realm of confidence. She says, would you compare SEMrush to Answer the Public? Answer the Public is a tool that is going to give you the questions that are being asked about a particular topic. Go to answerthepublic.com, type in a topic. It's going to show you all the questions that are being asked. SEMrush, on the other hand, is a very comprehensive tool that lets you reverse engineer all of the elements of a website that are causing it to get traffic and make sales. So they're completely different tools. SEMrush might give you some of the things that you'll find in Answer the Public, but my recommendation for you, because I'm a SEMrush user, SEMrush is a very complex tool. It is much more than you need if you're just beginning. If you're just beginning, Answer the Public is going to be a better place for you. And Monica, I know what you do, so I'm going to tell you that Answer the Public is the right place for you to be. You don't need to be on SEMrush. Let me see if there's any other questions that have come in. I'm literally just scanning for question marks. I don't see any others. I do want to express a profound amount of gratitude for you fine people who spent time with me here live today. If you're here in the replay, I'm grateful that you're here as well. Lauren, I can't believe you're still here. You're going live in 1 minute. Please, Lauren, please go and get your Pilates thing started. Lauren says, you've been the greatest mentor ever. Thank you for spreading your gift. I'm very, very grateful for that. All right. So quick recap of everything we covered today. You're going to start saying no more often. You're going to start saying yes to the only things that inspire you. Confidence boost right away. You are going to wake up every day seeking discomfort and busting through that discomfort. And that is going to signal to you that you have the confidence to get the work done. You're going to embrace the scientific process of hypothesizing, experimenting, looking for the results, finding the feedback, feeding that back into your hypothesis so that when you have a setback, you're turning it into progress and forward movement. You're going to start writing down 3 goals every day for the next 90 days. Go to Amazon, buy one of these, buy a pencil, only for that book. Keep it right next to you. Start your day writing down the 3 goals. That's going to remind you of why you're doing what you're doing, and that is going to trigger confidence here so that you can keep moving forward. You are going to become consistent, so incredibly consistent every single day in doing these things and in serving the people that you serve. And through consistency comes an amazing amount of confidence. Surround yourself with evidence, and then consider getting a mentor. Consider getting me as a mentor. See what it's like, and watch the confidence start to blossom. And then finally, we go back to right where we started. Don't get cocky, all right? Have the confidence, but there's no need to go around crowing about how great you are, showing your whatever and whatever, just hoping to get the likes in the comments. You don't need that. You don't need to be cocky. You just need to be confident, all right? And with that confidence, people are going to start to become magnetized to you. I'm going to end this thing so that I can get over to Lawrence Pilates right now from Conscious 7. I'm very grateful that you were here today. I will be back next Tuesday. Maybe we'll start to explore another day to be together during the week. And here we go, ending the stream for you as I manage my expressions on my face while this thing ends. I'll see you guys next week.